I'm Bob Coleman, and we're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Thank you to this week's sponsor, the 2019 SBA 7(a) Loan Closer on-site certified Coleman training in Marina del Rey on February 5th.
Tell us about your on-site loan training certification.
Well, it's exciting, Bob. We've been doing the SBA Loan Closer certification course for several years now, and it's all been filmed off-site, and people get to watch video segments. I'm actually going to get an opportunity to be up close and personal with the participants, be an opportunity for those who've taken the course before to get recertified and get new and updated information. It's a great opportunity for those who work as SBA loan closers who haven't taken the course. It's a great course, Bob.
Hey, post-election analysis, we asked our participants in Coleman Report Live how they felt the election is going to impact the SBA loan program. And as for fun, I thought we'd also do an approval rating at SBA Lending Administrator McMahon. Spoiler alert, best numbers in Washington.
Were the midterm results good for SBA's lending programs? What do you think? Yes, no, no opinion. Sort of like to throw that out there.
I really look forward to seeing the responses, Bob. I think, the greatest thing for SBA lending programs is when the SBA administrator became a cabinet level position. But we'll see what the response is.
Interesting. I thought maybe you would have gone over 50%. Lance and I have talked about this before. SBA is the one bipartisan consensus by both parties. Main Street always ranks highly. In terms of the program, nothing's going to change.
Poultry lending, they've been trying to find a way to move poultry lending off the plate now for the better part of this year. So, I don't see it opening back up. And you see a lot of the people who were big in poultry lending, Bob, moving away from it into other vertical markets.
Yeah. Second question. We hear a lot about approval ratings. What do you think? Do you believe SB Administrator Lending McMahon is doing a job? We hear a lot. We read a lot about cabinet officials changing positions. I've heard nothing about this. I don't know if she's going to stay or leave, but I'd like to know what the industry thinks of her job performance.
It's kind of interesting, Bob. She seems like one of the most stable cabinet members if you are one that follows politics. And the other thing that's interesting, you saw that the president donated his salary to SBA.
Yes. And those are very, in terms of Washington, D.C. politics, that's got to be a record. I personally, and I think Lance also has approved of the job she's doing. She's done basic marketing stuff. She's gone on outreach. She's been a very strong advocate for the program. Thank you for your response. Hey, well, Lance, go ahead, Lance.
The implementation of the program itself, the SBA administrator's position is a true CEO position. It gives direction to the SBA, and it serves as a spokesperson for the SBA.
We've been covering SBA's proposed rule about a number of changes. One is to bring back the personal resource test. Listen to Lance and I discuss the response to our unofficial survey poll from the industry.
Lance, I want to talk about our survey results on the proposed rule. To recap, this came out in September. You have until November 22nd to respond. We are going to be sending all of your responses and putting them up online, but I thought you'd be interested to see what they did. Regarding the proposed bringing back the personal resource test, Lance, and we got a great response. Thank you very much. We got 139 people. I know it's not scientific, but 139 people in our little small industry is quite a bit. 76% don't like it. 19% didn't have a problem. What do you think about those results, Lance?
I have mixed feelings about this, Bob, because right now it's real gray. Personal resources are kind of tied into credit elsewhere, and you might get criticized in a situation where you didn't think you were going to. If they implement the personal resource test, at least we have a clearly defined path in making a determination if we're requiring the owners to inject the appropriate level of capital. You know, I don't necessarily like it. I've seen a lot of lenders say, well, you know, we miss out on the opportunity to bring strong borrowers to the SBA program. But one of the problems you run into, Bob, is you'll see some SBA loans where you've got somebody who clearly, and I think could get the loan elsewhere or could fund the loan themselves. That's what this is for. It's not for, you know, probably 98% of the loans that I see, they don't have enough personal liquidity for this to even be an issue.
You know, unfortunately, there were one or two rogue exceptions, so that's why we're back with this test. I don't have a problem with these numbers. I have a problem with the philosophical reimposition of this program, where now the lender is supposed to be the full private partner in making these decisions, and ISB is saying, no, we're not going to let you make that decision on your own. We're going to give you some guidance. So that's the problem I have with going back down this road. And the reality is, Lance, I doubt there's anybody on this call who's seen this type of situation cross their desk.
We love to use polls for our live events, for our webinars. It keeps the audience engaged. This was a great response about Lance's webinar on Form 159 fee disclosures. They got it. They nailed it. They got it absolutely right.
The following fees must be disclosed in SBA Form 159. Any loan broker referral fee paid by the lender, a lender packaging fee of $2,000, an attorney loan closing fee. We pay the SBA BDO a commission on the gross percentage of the loan. And Lance, when we do our compensation surveys, a common spiff for a loan closer is to get a small couple $100 spiff paid by the lender for closing the loan. Does that need to be disclosed? Let's see what you all say.
Well, yeah, I want to see what everybody says. And you did great, guys. There's a
perfect. That's a perfect response. Look at that.
They did a great job. The lender packaging fee has to be reported. A broker fee paid by the lender has to be reported. An attorney's closing fee does not have to be reported. BDO commission, a lot of that depends on whether it's a third party and they're being paid for a referral. That's a more gray area. And then the loan closer.
I should have said this is a BDO that's employed by the lender.
Yeah, if you're XYZ Bank and you have a BDO that works for XYZ Bank and you pay a commission, that does not have to be reported. But let's say Bob Coleman is an independent agent and he's a business development person and he refers a loan to your bank and you pay Bob a commission, you're going to report Bob's commission on the 159, the loan closer bonus fee that paid Bob, which I have a lot of respect for loan closers, as you know, Bob. That does not have to be reported, and that is a bonus that I think every institution needs to consider because the closing process is so intensive.
Hey, we got a borrower profile, a very successful 504 story. Kevin Darren, Machinetek out of Escondido, California, a CDC small business finance customer.
Yeah, I'm Kevin Derrick, the president and CEO of Machinetek. Machinetek was formed in 1992 in Escondido, California, in a very small facility, to take advantage of what was a growing field of honeycomb fabrication. Honeycomb is a lightweight expanded material used as the core component of honeycomb composite panels, and those panels are used primarily in the aerospace industry due to their strength and lightweight. And so we recognized back in 1992 that this was an opportunity for us to move into a field that was underrepresented in the manufacturing sector. We began as a modest company with fairly modest capabilities, but as time went on and our capabilities grew, our size grew. And at some point we outgrew that facility in Escondido. We looked for a much larger facility and found one here in Carlsbad, California. Beautiful area, beautiful building. But it needed some improvements, partly to meet our specific needs, and we made some of those improvements. At some point, we had the opportunity to purchase the building, And we chose to do that partly so we could continue to build out the facility to fully establish it for our needs. To do that, we needed financing.
So I'm Mary Adams with CDC Small Business Finance. I'm a commercial loan officer. And when I met Kevin, there were a lot of moving parts to the project and the need and desire to purchase the building because his landlord was threatening to sell one way or another, whether or not he exercised the lease option or, or decided not to do that. And Kevin had invested quite a sum of money in tenant improvements into the building when he moved in as a tenant, and really didn't know at that time that we could use those already paid for out of cash from the company tenant improvements in order to come up with the down payment. So the beautiful thing about this project, in my mind, is that we were able to use money that Kevin had already spent on the building when he moved in as his down payment. So Kevin came in with no cash at that time of purchase and just was able to document those tenant improvements. We sent that into the SBA and they approved it and said, absolutely, that looks good. And he just was able to close on the building. So not only getting additional capital, but also not having to come out of pocket with any additional funds.
It did preserve those extra funds for the business expansion that we were undertaking.
Right.
That's right. If we had been forced to put them all into the improvements or in the form of a down payment, then we wouldn't have had the extra capital to grow the company the way we did.
Exactly. So, it was a success story all the way around.
And we owe it all to you, Mary. 504 program has worked out very well. The costs have been relatively low. The costs have remained stable on both of those loans, even as general interest rates have been increasing. So it's allowed us to have a stable, budgetable building facility cost now and into the future. So after 23 years, retiring as a Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Air Force, I pursued my business activities full time, and in this case, as the CEO of Machinetek. Great background, great training, and a great opportunity to serve the country. In addition, of course, it did qualify me for a few benefits, one of which was perhaps additional entitlement to some financing. Perhaps more now as a result of hindsight, but I do realize how important it is to own a building for a company like ours. There's always the pride of ownership, but beyond that, there's the ability to customize the building as you find appropriate for your own business. But moreover, I think it's the security, the known ability to continue to occupy the building at a fixed rate. Most rents go up over time, hard to predict, hard to budget. And of course, it's an additional cost as those rent increases occur. But more significantly, you can never be assured of continuing to occupy a rented facility. The building owner may choose to sell it to someone else who wishes to occupy it. They may wish to occupy it themselves. They may wish to tear it down and build a shopping mall or something there. So the ability to purchase the building, to secure our continued occupancy at a fixed rate, was of great value to Machinetek, and it will continue to be so into the future.
Industry leader profile, Sanat Patel, Avana Capital. Sanat Patel, Avana Capital, managing director, co-founder. What is Avana Capital? What do you guys do?
Well, Bob, thank you so much for having me here. Appreciate that.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. We are a commercial real estate debt fund. We specialize in supporting small businesses in building their wealth through acquisition and ownership of real estate. We've been doing it for about 15 years, and we definitely believe in the small business segment, and that's how we support small business, by allowing them to grow their capital and invest in real estate.
We're here at the National Alliance of Commercial Loan Brokers. Is this an important event for you?
Yes, this is our third time attending this event. We feel this is an opportunity for us to get access to intermediaries that are supporting business owners in accessing the small business market of capital. We feel that we can educate, which I think this is a forum that does that for people. And ultimately, we want this to be a venue where people look at saying, how can we learn about small business lending? What are the sources of small business capital in the market? And well, how can we all leverage and grow our businesses?
Sanat, I have a pretty cool gig. I get to talk to a lot of different people, a lot of different lenders. What is your credit box? Do you have a niche, something that you specialize in, that when the broker gets a transaction, they say, hey, I got to call Avana?
Well, firstly, you've got a good gig, so that means I want to do what you're doing. But no, our niche is really supporting small business, but it's real estate focused. We lend based on securing against real estate. We're a mortgage lender. We do first mortgages. We also do SBA 504. We do the first and the second mortgage jointly. We'll provide bridge financing, which is a quick close, and then we understand that our capital gets replaced by traditional bank debt. Where we succeed is getting the capital to the small business quickly so they can continue their business and grow it. Banks are traditionally our partners as well. So we look at saying, how can we help the small business succeed? And then let's figure out how that best capital structure we give them helps them succeed, basically.
Sanat, thank you.
Thanks, man. Great seeing you.
Thank you for joining us today for the Coleman Report Update and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.